What's up, everybody? Hello, and welcome to a new round of YouTube. Okay, I'm trying to amplify my voice. It's not working well. I think I'm coming down with something. Oh my god, it sounds so fucked. Anyways, let's just try to get through this and see how many we could do today, because I mean, fucking hell. Anyways, I want to play some Gotcha Pets. We're going to get this shit completed. We're going to do whatever the fuck we can do. And fucking hell, we're going to do it. Alright? So, cool. Let's get this started. We'll set the timer for 30 minutes.
Countdown timer. 30 minutes.
So we got the timer set for 30 minutes. Now, let's play some Gotcha Pets. Hit it! Computer. Open Gotcha Pets.
Welcome to Gotcha Pets. Update 6 is now live. You have received 10 Gotcha eggs and 10 ancient amber. You have received double update celebration gifts because you are a Gotcha premium subscriber. Thanks for your support. Say what's new to learn more about the update. It looks like you haven't linked your account yet.
I don't give a
You
fuck,
will earn
bitch.
25 Gotcha eggs by linking your account and making it secure. Say link account to start. Select a depth between 1 and 100. Say a different bait name to switch bait or leave to stop fishing.
100. Trying to complete the quest.
You caught a 44-pound snapper. You got 1 snapper meat.
Woo,
You now have
damn.
3 snapper meat. You have 7 herring meat left. Select a depth between 1 and 100. Say a different bait name to switch bait or leave to stop fishing.
100. We'll get some more worm after this. And we'll see what we can do. I ain't resting my voice. Fuck y'all. I ain't resting my voice. And I'm not saying fuck y'all to the
You got 1
fans.
pollock meat. You now have 51 pollock meat. You have
Fuck
6
the
herring
people
meat
that
left.
made me sick.
Select a depth between 1 and 100. Say a different bait name to switch
Computer
bait.
100. I don't give a fuck if I, get hoarse or not. I'll be fine in a few days. Just don't
You
give a
caught a
fuck right
1-pound
now.
pollock.
Trying to
You got 1 pollock
take
meat.
care of
You now have 52 pollock meat.
52
You
pop.
have 5 herring meat
Man,
left. Select a depth between 1 and 100.
fuck.
Say a different bait name to
Computer.
switch bait or leave.
100. I can cuss like a sailor. That still works. Ooh.
You caught a 43-pound snapper. You got 1 snapper meat. You now have 4 snapper meat. You have 4 herring meat left. Select a depth between
Computer.
1 and 100.
100. You're probably like, shut up. Rest your voice. Oh my god. But what if I don't want
You
to?
caught a 9-pound pollock.
And no, I don't fake
That
this
thing
shit.
is
This shit's
gargantuan.
actually happening.
You got 4 pollock
Um,
meat. You now have 56 pollock meat.
Really?
You have 3 herring meat left.
Really,
Select a
bitch?
depth between 1 and 100. Say a
Computer.
different bait name to
100. 56 pollock meat. You're not supposed to sell that shit. Mm-mm. We don't play this shit.
You caught a 48-pound snapper. You got 1 snapper meat. You now have 5 snapper meat. You have 2 herring meat left.
Mm-mm.
Select a depth between 1 and 100. Say a
Computer
different bait
100. I'm gonna buy the daily limit of whatever the fuck it is, and we'll take it from there.
You caught a 30-pound snapper. You got 1 snapper meat.
Damn.
You now have 6 snapper meat. You have 1 herring meat
Mm-mm.
left. Select a depth between 1 and 100.
Computer,
Say a different
100. Son of a bitch. Get your fucking...
You caught a 4-pound pollock. That thing is huge. You got 2 pollock meat.
2
You
pollock
now
meat.
have 58 pollock
Kiss
meat.
my ass.
You're out of herring meat.
Good.
Which bait would you like to use?
Computer, leave.
You have left the docks. What next? Would you like to enter the endless dungeon, fight in the arena, or go fishing at the docks?
Market.
Welcome to the market. Say the name of the item you would like to buy, or you can say what can I buy or leave to leave the vendor.
Worm.
Say the name of the item you would like to buy.
Computer.
Or you can...
Worm.
Okay. How many worm would you like to buy? You can buy up to 50.
50.
You bought 50 worm. You spent 10,000 gotcha coins and have 1,343,500 left. Say the name of the item you would like to buy, or you can say what can I buy or leave to leave the vendor.
Leave.
You have left the market. What next? Would you like to fight in the
Computer.
arena?
Auction house.
Welcome to the auction house. You have not sold any items since the last time you were here. Say help if you wish to learn how to use the auction house.
Computer,
Say
sell pollock meat.
the current market price for pollock meat is 300 gotcha coins. Please say a number of pollock meat that you would like
Computer.
to keep a minimum.
0.
Your minimum quantity for pollock meat has been set to 0. You have 0 in your inventory and 58 on the auction house. Say buy item name to buy an item, or sell item name to sell an item, or say help to learn more about the auction house.
Sell rainbow trout.
The current market price for rainbow trout meat is 120,000 gotcha coins. Please say a number of rainbow trout meat that you would like to keep a minimum quantity of. Any remaining number of rainbow trout meat that you have will be able to be purchased by other players. Say cancel to cancel setting an
Computer.
item quantity.
0.
Your minimum quantity for rainbow trout meat has been set to 0. You have 0 in your inventory and 11 on the auction house. Say buy item name to buy an item, or sell item name to sell an item, or say help to learn more about the auction house.
Sell piranha.
The current market price for piranha meat is 45,000 gotcha coins. Please say a number of piranha meat.
Computer,
that you would like
0.
to- Your minimum quantity for piranha meat has been set to 0. You have 0 in your inventory and 24 on the auction house. Say buy item name to buy an item, or sell item name to sell an item, or say help to learn more about the auction house.
Leave.
You have left the auction house. What next? Would you like to
Computer
explore the-
docs.
What next? Would
Computer
you like to...
docs. 22 minutes and
Welcome back to
23
the docks.
seconds.
Let's catch some fish.
You can say help if you need help. Which bait would you like to use?
Computer
You can say
worm.
you have selected worm. Select a depth between 1 and 100.
Computer
Say it.
100.
You caught a 18-ounce herring. You got 1 herring meat. You have 59 worm left. Select a depth between 1 and 100. Say a different bait name to switch bait or leave to stop fishing.
100. More herring meat?
You caught a 14-pound trout. You got 1 trout meat. You have 58 worm left. Select a depth between 1 and 100. Say a different bait name to switch bait. or
Computer
leave to stop.
100.
You caught a 20-pound trout. You got 1 trout meat. You now have 2 trout meat. You have 57 worm left. Select a depth between 1 and 100. Say a different bait name to switch bait or leave to stop fishing.
Computer, 100. Fuck.
You caught a
Ease back.
13-ounce herring. You got 1 herring meat. You now have 2
Don't
herring
stress
meat.
yourself out when you
have
do these
56
videos.
worm left. Select a depth between 1 and 100.
Computer,
Say a different.
100. And no, don't try to power it, bro. If you can't do it, you can't do it. But, you know, don't follow my lead if you're feeling, you know,
You
interesting
caught a
about it.
46-ounce herring. That thing is huge. You got 2 herring meat. You now have 4 herring meat. You have 55 worm left. Select a depth between 1 and 100. Say a different bait name
Computer,
to switch
100. Man, nobody want no herring. Why the fuck are you giving me herring meat? I can't complete something like this. Shit. Mm-mm.
You caught a 36-pound trout. That thing is huge. You got 2 trout meat. You now have 4 trout meat. You have 54 worm left. Select a depth between 1 and 100. Say a different bait name
Computer.
to switch.
100. Mm-mm.
You caught a 20-pound trout. You got 1 trout meat. You now have 5 trout meat. You have 53 worm left. Select a depth between 1 and 100.
Computer,
Say
100. Mm-mm.
You caught a 26-pound trout. You got 1 trout meat. You now have 6 trout meat. You have 52 worm left. Select a depth between 1 and 100.
Computer, 100. All right.
You caught a 20-pound trout. You got 1 trout meat. You now have 7 trout meat. You have 51 worm left.
Fuck.
Select a depth between 1 and 100.
Computer, 100. I like playing games with
You caught a
Echo.
24-ounce herring. You got 1 herring meat.
I thought that
You
would
now
have been
have
divided
5
into
herring
2.
meat. You have 51
Mm-mm.
left. Select a depth between 1 and 100. Say a different
Computer.
bait name to
100. Oof.
You caught a 24-pound trout. You got 1 trout meat. You now have 8 trout meat. You have 49 worm left. Select a depth between 1 and 100. Say a different bait name
Computer.
to switch bait.
100. Mm-mm-mm.
You caught an 18-pound trout.
Y'all give
You
me
got 1
credit.
trout
I
meat.
don't feel
You now
like
have 9
making
trout
these
meat.
videos, but I'm doing it
You
for
have
y'all.
48 worm left. Select a depth
You should
between
be
1
listening
and
to a book right
100.
about now. And
Say a
just
different bait
resting
name
my
to switch
voice.
bait or leave to stop fishing.
100. But I go the extra mile for my fans. At the end of the day, it's all about y'all.
You caught a 13-pound trout. You got 1 trout meat. You now have 10 trout meat.
Stupid fucking
You have 47 worm left. Select a depth between 1
Computer.
and 100.
100.
You caught a 13-pound trout. You got 1 trout meat. You now have 11 trout meat. You have 46 worm left. Select a depth between 1 and 100. Say a different bait
Computer.
name to switch.
100.
You caught a 48-ounce herring. That thing is massive.
Holy
You got
shit.
3 herring meat. You now have 8 herring meat. You have
Damn.
45 worm left. Select a depth between 1 and 100.
Computer.
Say a different.
100. Well, actually, that's no surprise.
You caught a 36-pound snapper. You got 1 snapper meat. You now have 7 snapper meat. You have 44 worm left.
What the hell do you do
Select a
with
depth
snapper
between
meat,
1
I
and
wonder?
100. Say a different bait name to switch bait or leave to stop fishing.
100.
You caught a 13-ounce herring. You got 1 herring meat. You now have 9 herring meat. You have 43 worm left. Select a depth between 1 and 100. Say a different bait name to switch bait or leave to stop fishing.
100. You gotta ease back into it kind of and just kind of like hope for the best, I guess.
You caught an 18-pound trout. You got 1 trout
18-pound
meat.
trout.
You now have 12 trout meat. You have 42 worm left.
Shit.
Select a depth between 1 and 100. Say a different bait
Computer.
name to switch.
100.
You caught a 13-ounce herring. You got 1 herring meat. You now have 10 herring meat. You have 41 worm left. Select a depth between 1 and 100. Say a different bait name to switch bait or leave to stop fishing.
100.
You caught a 25-pound trout. You got 1 trout meat. You now have 13 trout meat. You have 40 worm left. Select a depth between 1 and 100. Say a different bait name
Computer.
to switch bait.
100. I'm catching more trout than I was trying to catch the other shit that I get it up to, but this is why you can't get quests.
You caught a 63-pound snapper. You got 1
What
snapper
the
meat.
fuck? I can't
You now
catch
have
either
8 snapper
quest.
meat.
What?
You have 39
They
worm
didn't
left.
give me a quest.
Select a
Unless I
depth
complete
between
that
1 and
one.
100. Say a different bait name to switch bait or leave to
Gotta
stop
keep
fishing.
clearing my throat. 100. Part of me thinks I'm doing too much, but I don't, it's worth it.
You caught a 24-ounce herring. You got 1 herring meat. You now have 11 herring meat. You have 38 worm left. Select a depth between 1 and 100.
Computer,
Say a different.
100. I haven't passed out yet. I feel like I'm going to, but it's because every time I get sleep ever since I've been.
You caught a 38-pound snapper. You got one
I'll be
snapper
alright
meat.
though.
You now have 9 snapper meat. You have 37 worm left.
It's not what time I
Select a
get up.
depth between 1 and 100. Say a different bait name to switch bait or leave to stop fishing.
100. It's what I do when I'm supposed to be chilling out, but I care about every single one of you. I will go the whole 9 yards to make sure I
You
get these
caught a
videos up.
19-pound trout. You got 1 trout meat. You now have 14 trout meat. You have 36 worm left. Select a depth
Fucking
between
hell.
1 and 100. Say a
Computer.
different bait name.
100.
You caught a 28-pound trout. You got 1 trout meat.
That's a big
You now
ass
have 15
trout.
trout meat. You have 35 worm left. Select a depth between 1 and 100. Say a different bait name.
Computer
to switch
100. It's worth it. It is worth it. It is so fucking worth it. Making these videos is what I do.
You caught a 26-pound trout.
I don't care.
You got 1 trout meat. You now have 16 trout meat. You have 34 worm left. Select a depth between 1 and 100. Say a different bait name to switch bait or leave to stop fishing.
100. And yes, I'm still a human, so
You caught a 16-pound trout. You got 1 trout meat. You now have 17 trout meat. You
17
have
trout
33
meat?
worm left. Select a depth between 1
Say
and 100.
what? No.
Say a different bait name to switch bait or leave to
Woo!
stop fishing.
100. Let's get it.
You caught a 65-pound snapper. You got 1 snapper meat. You now have 10 snapper meat. You have 32
How
worm
big
left.
does the snapper
Select
gotta
a
be to
depth
be
between
the
1 and
2?
100. Say a different bait name to switch bait or leave to stop fishing.
100. Oh no.
You caught a 20-pound trout.
I will give you
You got
guys
1 trout meat. You now have
what
18
y'all
trout
came
meat.
for, if it's
You have
restrained
31
or
worm
not.
left. Select a depth
I will
between
make
1
it
and
be
100.
heard.
Say a different bait name to switch bait or leave to stop fishing.
100.
You caught an 18-ounce herring. You got 1 herring meat. You now have 12 herring meat. You have 30 worm left. Select a depth.
You can
between
fish
1
with
and
herring meat
100.
apparently.
Say a different
Computer.
bait name to switch.
100. Mhm.
You caught a 17-ounce herring. You got 1 herring meat. You
Mm-mm.
now have 13 herring meat. You have 29 worm left. Select a depth between 1 and 100. Say a different bait name to switch bait or leave to stop fishing.
100. Yes, you can tell I'm trying to be the lively one here. I feel okay so far, but
You caught an 18-ounce herring.
y'all are
You got 1
getting
herring meat. You now have 14 herring
what y'all
meat.
are what
You
y'all
have
coming
28
for, you
worm
know?
left. Select a depth between 1 and 100.
Computer 100. YouTube is what I do. I should do it for a living because, you know, it's something I enjoy, but I do it when I feel like it, and
You caught a 26
I'm
pound
gonna
trout.
probably put up about
You
10
got one
videos
trout
today
meat. You now
because I
have
feel like
19
it,
trout meat.
and
You have 27 worm left. Select a depth between 1
I
and
might
100.
do less.
Say a different bait name to switch bait or leave to stop fishing.
100.
You caught a 14-ounce herring. You got 1 herring meat. You now have 15 herring meat. You have 26 worm left. Select a depth between 1 and 100. Say a different bait name to switch bait or leave to stop fishing.
100. Fuck.
You caught an 18-pound trout. You got 1 trout meat. You now have 20 trout meat. You have 25 worm left. Select a depth between 1 and 100. Say a different bait name to switch bait or leave to stop fishing.
100.
You caught a 16-pound trout. You got 1 trout meat. You now have 21 trout meat. You have 24 worm left. Select a depth between 1 and 100. Say a different bait name to switch bait or leave to stop fishing.
100. Part of
You
me
caught
just
an
wants
18-pound
to go
You got 1 trout meat.
outside for a bit
You now
and
have
try to run
22
around,
trout
although I
meat.
don't think that's
You
going to be a
have
good
23
idea,
worm
but
left. Select a depth
kinda
between
worth
1 and
it.
100. Say a different bait name to
computer
switch bait.
100. But I'm not completely sure. I am not
You
completely
caught a
sure.
22-pound trout. You got 1 trout meat. You now have 23 trout meat. You have 22 worm left. Select a depth between 1 and 100. Say a different bait name to switch bait or leave to stop fishing.
100. You kind of, when you exercise, you try to get that
You
out
caught a
quicker, I
20-pound
think.
trout. You got
So
1
of course,
trout meat.
of course you're
You
gonna
now
burn through
have
energy.
24 trout meat. You have
You
21
should
worm
be
left.
saving it, but
Select a depth between 1 and 100. Say a different bait name to
I
switch bait
think-
or leave to stop fishing.
100. I think it's about time, and it's worth it that I actually do what I was gonna do. I still got
You caught a
to
22-ounce herring.
finish
got 1
24
herring meat.
laps and then
You
do a
now have
36
16
lap
herring meat.
run.
You have 20 worm left. Select a depth between
I
1
don't know
and
how the hell
100.
I'm gonna do that
Say a
now.
different bait name to switch bait or leave to stop
I can
fishing.
come up with something though. 100. I can come up with something. We'll try to, but it is
You
worth
caught a
it in the end.
36-pound snapper. You got 1 snapper meat. You now have 11 snapper meat. You have 19 worm left. Select a depth between 1 and 100. Say a different bait name to switch bait or leave to stop fishing.
100.
You caught a 26-pound trout. You got 1 trout meat. You now have 25 trout meat. You have 18 worm left. Select a depth between 1 and 100. Say a different bait name to switch bait or leave to stop fishing.
100. think I will go outside for a bit. It's always important to run.
You caught a 25-ounce herring. You got 1 herring meat. You now have 17 herring meat. You have 17 worm left. Select a depth between 1 and 100. Say a different bait name to switch bait and move to stop fishing.
100.
You caught a 70-pound snapper. That thing is huge. You got 2 snapper
Timer!
meat. You now have 13 snapper meat. You have 16 worm left. Select a depth between 1 and 100. Say a different bait name to switch bait or move to stop fishing.
Shut up.
Thanks for playing. Do you have any suggestions for gotcha pets? Head over to
Alright, with this being
gotchapets.com
said,
and
I don't
visit
know
the
what I'm gonna
discussion
do.
forum or join or
I'll probably
Discord
create a
server.
second video
Come back
later.
again tomorrow to collect daily
I might
rewards.
just go outside, see what ends up happening out there, because I'm gonna try to run around and finish these last 24 laps. But I will take it a second at a time and see what happens. But as most of you know, I've been only trying to do YouTube videos to pass the time while I'm trying to feel better and shit like that, because, you know, family when they're sick, especially Godzilla, which could be a brother, likes to put himself around you or hug you, and you got children that hug you and you pull away and you're not quick enough, that can shatter a 9-year streak. So, but it ain't too bad, because I'm about to go outside and run around for a bit, try to, and just not really say much of anything. But anyways, you guys take care and stay safe.